Golden Opportunities is paid for by Elder Productions.
Hello, I'm Lori Steiner. Welcome to Golden Opportunities.
Today, it's unsettling to move a loved one to a nursing home. We'll help everyone successfully settle in. Then, we'll dig into the horticultural history of hops. Their grin was gone. We'll hear a personal story of a smile restored. Plus, why is Ohio always a battleground state? We'll peek behind presidential politics. And the IRS has new rules about IRAs. We'll spell out the details.
It's time to get geoing, so pull up a chair and join us at our kitchen table for Golden Opportunities. A few weeks ago, Dr. Matthew Franz joined us here in the Metro Health studio to share startling news about supplements. He's back with us today to continue that discussion and explain why biologics that probably shouldn't work actually sometimes do. Dr. Franz is in family medicine at Metro Health. So welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
So the last time we talked about this, you said there were only a very few biologics that were actually good, and a long list of those that were bad. So are the safe ones the ones that actually work?
Well, there's more than a few that are safe. There are a handful of them that are very safe, and that we have proof that they work, and there's a whole list of them that are very unsafe. And so biologics by and large are tested by using the way we test medications, which is using double-blind studies. A double-blind study is simple. The person giving the medication or the biologic doesn't know what they're giving. They either give that or they give placebo. The person taking it doesn't know what they're getting. They either get placebo or they get the active medication. So that's a double-blind study. And when we do those studies, we can kind of tell whether the medication is going to work or whether it's not going to work. Because quite honestly, we're trying not to harm the patient first. That's the adage in medicine is first do no harm. And so by using these studies, we can see that there's a large placebo effect to a lot of these supplements that we use. Black cohosh that we use for menopause is one of them. There was a double-blind study that was done, and it showed that the black cohosh actually in the arm that had the active metabolite in it, 40% of those people improved. Well, in the placebo arm, 40% of those people improved. So the placebo effect is huge. I have a friend that we were on vacation one time. She was tired. She asked another friend of ours if she could have something for sleep. And so she gave her a biologic that we use commonly for sleep. And the next morning she said, "Boy, I was the best sleep. I could hardly stay awake." Well, it turned out she gave her stool softeners instead. But the placebo effect worked.
Okay.
And that's the point.
So if the placebo effect is good, what's the harm in taking any supplements?
Well, again, we talked last time about the harm in supplements. A lot of them aren't vetted. We don't know what's in a lot of them. We don't know the concentrations. Some of them have lead in them, heavy metals, arsenic, active metabolites. There's a lot of bad things that can happen if you take those types of medications. So you need one that's going to be, safe. So there's a list of safe ones, and the ones that we feel are safe in medication. There's also the pharmacology aspect of it. These are pharmacokinetically active metabolites, and so they get into your system and they may act differently than you might want them to act.
Okay, so it's important when you're going to your primary care doctor to tell them all your prescriptions, all your over-the-counter, and all your supplements, right?
Absolutely. If you're going in there and you're taking different supplements, say you're taking St. John's wort, and St. John's wort is very active, and it may bind to a protein in your system that another medication should be binding to, and that will alter it. It can alter the efficacy of birth control pills. And again, St. John's wort is for depression, and if you find out that you're pregnant, it's not going to be a good thing, obviously. Right. Also, the way they're eliminated from the system. They go through the same elimination system in the liver sometimes. And so if you take one of these active metabolites and you take it with Coumadin, it may increase your bleeding time. And so, that's a very dangerous thing. So you should try and tell your physician what you're taking. We may notice that there's a a couple different medications that you're taking. Say you're taking something CoQ10 and you're taking a lipid-lowering medication that's, biologic. It may tell us that maybe you're concerned with your heart health, and maybe we should talk a little bit more about heart health and do the tests that we feel are appropriate.
And get you on the right medication.
On the right medication, correct.
All right. There are some supplements that might be safe, but the safest choice is to talk with your doctor first to make sure that they will help you and not harm you. Now that change is healthy. My thanks to Dr. Franz for joining us again today.
To learn more, call Metro Health at 216-778-7800 or visit their website, www.metrohealth.org. Next, how crops turn into hops. But first, it's just a fact that families sometimes fight. And while home is where the heart is, it's also where we're apt to argue amongst ourselves. So where in our households do we cook up the most quarrels? We'll put this question to rest when we return.
Hilltop Village Apartments is retirement living at its best. Residents enjoy a wide variety of activities and living services with all large first-floor apartments, private screened-in patios with beautiful park views, daily dining room meals, free laundry facilities, 24-hour staff, and so much more. Enjoy safe, comfortable independence at a very affordable price. Call today for a tour and learn how you can get your first month's rent free. Hilltop Village Apartments, retirement living at its best.
If you can't stand the heat of an argument, stay out of the kitchen. That's the room where most squabbles get stirred up. To tone things down, try taking your tiff to your dining room table and serve a healthy slice of I'm sorry.
The love of beer is well grounded in many of its frothy fans, cultivating a growing interest in microbreweries and an assortment of ales. If you're a budding beer connoisseur, then plant yourself at the Cleveland Botanical Garden this Wednesday and next for their Hoppy Hour, where horticulture and hops are both on the menu. Cynthia Druckenbrod is here to give us a taste of the botanical basics for making beer. Cynthia is the Director of Horticultural Exhibits and Communication at the Cleveland Botanical Gardens. So, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I brought some interesting hops here.
Yeah, what a better subject on.
Definitely. And so Hoppy Hour really is a great time to be at the Botanical Garden because you don't just come there to drink beer, although that's one of the fun things to do, but you get to see the gardens and you get to go on flashlight tours. And best of yet, you get to learn a little bit about the horticulture behind the beer. And there are different topics every single week. So the next 2 weeks, you're going to hear a topic on what makes the perfect beer and another topic on forensics in beer. And so it's really interesting. And actually, the other topic is when beer goes bad. And that's the Halloween week. And it's just a lot of fun. Yeah. We actually have Great Lakes coming in and Brew Kettle coming in. So people get to try different brews every single week.
And this is hops, correct?
These are hops, and it's one of the main ingredients in beer, along with barley and water and yeast.
Okay, so it sounds simple, but you can make a lot of different things out of those,
those are the 4 main ingredients, and if you smell it, they look like little pine cones, little green pine cones, and if you do give it a good smell, it's really fragrant. But yeah, this is what hops are, and they grow them in these big trellises at hop farms, and then, of course, this is the time of year that they're harvested. And then, of course, that's the main ingredient in beer that makes it bitter.
Okay. Yeah. And what does the barley do?
The barley makes it taste good.
Right. So there's so many new microbreweries around that are popping up everywhere, it seems.
That's right. And
it's a big deal.
Yes, it's a big deal, and that's why it's a big movement in Cleveland. And so Hoppy Hour makes perfect sense to be at the Botanical Garden because you get to enjoy hops, which go into microbrews great beers.
So you get to taste a little beer, you get to see the gardens and everything. And then the following week, not the first one that you've talked about, but the following week, you've got this beer botanicals and what is it? Bathtub gin.
Yeah,
so what's that
there's
about?
There's a reason. So we have an actress coming over from the Dietrich Medical Museum, and she is going to dress up like Dr. John Spencer, who was a forensic scientist in the early 20th century, and he would be able to tell how people passed away based on what was in the beer they drank. Because during Prohibition, beer was made with sometimes not so great ingredients that didn't sit well with you.
Oh,
so
dear.
whether or not you drank beer or bathtub gin, if it was distilled with something like turpentine, you wouldn't do so well. So there's gonna be an actress there talking about that, and it's gonna be a great time. So you're gonna get to learn all about what happened in Prohibition. You're gonna get to enjoy hops and horticulture at Hoppy Hour at the Botanical Garden.
Right. Well, is there a cover charge?
There's a small cover charge of $5, but members are always free. And then, of course, beer is on top of that. Tastings are really reasonably priced, though. And remember, you get to try 3 different beers. So
Ooh, good.
it's a lot of fun at the Botanical Garden.
It sounds like it will be. So here's to the Cleveland Botanical Garden. It doesn't matter if you're a beer beginner or a longtime lager lover. At Hoppy Hour, you'll discover the fundamental facts about all kinds of ale. My thanks to Cynthia Druckenbrod for sharing a taste of Hoppy Hour with us today.
Thank you.
Find out more by calling the Cleveland Botanical Garden at 216-721-1600 or click to www.cbgarden.org. Next, smiling can be simple. Looking for places to go, things to do? Welcome to our community calendar. Special planning is needed for a special needs child. To understand this important issue, plan to attend a free seminar presented by the law offices of Solomon, Steiner, and Peck. This seminar will take place Monday, October 17th at 7 p.m. at the Holiday Inn at Rockside, Tuesday, October 18th at 1 p.m. at the Doubletree in Beechwood, and Wednesday, October 19th at 2 p.m. at the Westlake Recreation Center. To find out more or to reserve your seat, call 1-888-236-5173.
Sometimes you just need a little nudge to upgrade your appearance. And Joe Kemmerling had that thanks to his wife, Barbara. She encouraged him to tackle his teeth problems, and now they're both smiling a whole lot more. Joe and Barbara join us today along with dentist Steve Marsh, who was the master of Joe's makeover. So, Joe, did you really want to sweeten your smile?
Well, for many years I've had issues with my teeth, and I certainly did want to make a difference. Barb had seen Dr. Marsh several years ago in one of your Golden Opportunities programs, and she said that he was the gentleman to do the makeover.
He was the guy, huh?
He was the guy.
So, Barb, what did you not like about his teeth?
Well, they didn't match Joe's personality, and he's still working, he's in sales, and his presentation is very, very important. And he's smiling all the time, aren't you, Joe? Which I love it, which he didn't before. And he really didn't have too much to smile about. And after meeting Dr. Marsh and speaking to him and seeing the quality of his work, I kept nudging this guy. I actually did a little trickery. I made an appointment to get our teeth cleaned and a consultation. And I knew that once Joe met Dr. Marsh, it would be it.
All right.
So nice. I don't know what to say. Thank you.
And you're blushing. So Steve, what kind of shape were Joe's teeth in?
Well, as Barb sort of insinuated, they weren't in the greatest shape. We'll actually bring up some pictures. And one of the things that's very interesting, we sit around together just as we're doing here. We've mentioned that before to get a sense of what they like. Right. Barbara wanted him to smile more because of his personality and bring it out, and Joe's concern was mostly function. He wanted his teeth to be stronger. They had broken down. He had sort of neglected them for a while.
For sure.
I thought how important it is. And this picture on the left that you see is how he came into me. Broken right front tooth to the right. The teeth were very dark. They were very stained. They had shifted a lot, right, Joe,
Absolutely.
over the years?
Over the years,
so Barbara had said to me, you know, he doesn't smile the way I would like him to smile, especially in sales or being out with friends and looking across the dinner table with him. So we talked about the options as we're doing here, and so we decided to do something very natural. Joe was very insistent. He didn't want big, white, whatever.
Yeah, didn't want him to look phony, for sure.
Didn't want that at all. So you can see in the after picture, it looks something like he has.
Yeah.
And this before and after sort of says it all. You could see when Joe was smiling, you knew that there were some teeth missing. It wasn't a full smile. And then that after picture shows a very full complement of teeth. Again, we did that with a combination of crowns and bridges to give him a beautiful smile, but importantly, as Joe wanted, very good function, and as Barbara wanted something she could enjoy looking across the table and something he could be proud of.
Yeah. So, it all came together.
Yeah, so how do you like them?
I like them. They're tremendous. I couldn't ask for a better job. Thank you very much, Doctor.
You're welcome. And we've actually become pretty good friends, even played golf together.
Oh my goodness.
So it's extended beyond the dentistry, which is great.
Yeah, he started in your teeth and went right out to the golf course.
Knows where it's going.
All right. Great seeing both of you smile about this. So,
Thank you for the opportunity.
Barbara's nudge to Joe was a push in the right direction. Now his teeth are terrific, and they both can't stop smiling. And they have Dr. Marsh to thank.
For sure.
And we all thank all of them for sharing the story that did bring a smile to our faces as well. So thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
See what Dr. Stephen Marsh can do for your smile by calling 440-461-1003 or visit www.clevelandsmiles.com. Next, Buckeye Battleground. It's time to get up and go, an exercise segment on golden opportunities.
Hello everybody, I'm Mike Carbon from Breakout Fitness, and we are here today to show you how to do a kneeling Superman. This is an excellent exercise, Lori, that's not only going to work the core, but also the lower back. You ready to go?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. All right, we're going to start this exercise on all fours. Here in the studio today, we have our exercise mats. You at home, go ahead and grab a spot on the floor. We're going to start with our hands about shoulder width apart. We also want our knees the same. Looking good. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to start with our right arm straight out in front, and we're simply going to try to get our left leg straight out behind us in the back here, okay? We're going to hold that for a 3 count, keep your balance, and then we're going to go ahead and we'll switch sides. Okay. So left arm straight out, right leg out, and we're going to hold it again for a 3 count. Okay, we're looking for 12 to 15 repetitions. How you feeling?
Oh, out of balance.
You got it, keep your balance. All right, everybody, 12 to 15 repetitions, 2 to 3 times a week, and now it's your turn to get up and go. There you go, perfect, all right.
For your copy of the exercise booklet, send $1 for postage to Golden Opportunities, 6105 Parkland Boulevard, Suite 140, Mayfield Heights, Ohio, 44124.
During a presidential election year, we Buckeyes constantly hear that Ohio is a battleground state. The fact is, in most cases, you need to win Ohio to be elected to the highest office in the land. But why? Dr. Stephen Brooks and a few of his colleagues asked that same question, and the answers are found in their book, Buckeye Battleground. Dr. Brooks is the Associate Director of the Ray C. Bliss Institute of Applied Politics at the University of Akron. So we're very happy to have you here.
It's my pleasure to be here.
So is Ohio really a make it or break it state for candidates?
If you look at history, it certainly is. In recent history, no Republican candidate has ever won the presidency without winning Ohio.
My goodness.
And only 2 Democrats have. So it is very important.
What makes Ohio so important then?
I think we are very competitive, and the reason for that is that we are a microcosm of the demographics of the nation. Now, that's not just the whole kind of adding up all of those, but what we have is what my colleagues and I talk about the 5 Ohios, 5 regions of the nation that are similar to various cultural areas that you need to reach if you're going to be president.
Okay.
And the difference, other places have that, but the difference of Ohio is none of the 5 are really dominant.
Oh, okay, so it's kind of equally spread. So what are the 5?
The 5 are here in Northeast Ohio, the industrial area. Southeast Ohio is very much, has Appalachian roots and is very much like if you were running in Appalachia. Mm-hmm. Southwest Ohio is on the Kentucky border and has a very southern kind of culture. Up in the Northwest, we have large farming as well as some industrial, kind of a more Indiana, that direction look. And then in the center, we have Columbus, which recently and its history is really connected to education and high tech and finance. So it's kind of, I kiddingly call it the California of Ohio.
Okay, so very different. So what does that mean for folks who are trying to create a campaign strategy?
Well, what it means is you cannot have a single strategy for the state of Ohio. What you have to do is you have to find a way to appeal to each one of those. If you use the same kind of appeal that we would use to voters here in Northeast Ohio, if you would use that down in Appalachia, they would look at you like, kind of, well, what are you talking about? And vice versa. So you need to learn how to work with all 5 of those pieces if you want to win.
So you probably have to spend a lot of time in Ohio because it's all different. You got to kind of tweak your campaign as you go.
Well, I don't think we need to tell our viewers the amount of television commercials, the amount of visits we get from candidates just makes that point. Yes,
oh, yeah.
They have to spend their time here.
So how many battleground states are there?
In this race, statistically, there are right now 13 are those that are in some senses too close to call, and because of the nature of our election, you need to win states, not win votes. And so there's 13 currently that are on the margins of winning and losing, but there are 3 that are really, really close, and those are the traditional battleground states, North Carolina, at least in this election, North Carolina, Florida, and Ohio.
Okay, so if it seems to be a close election, what do the candidates have to do to win the states?
The campaigning for all offices, but especially the presidency, has changed a lot since the year 2000. We have really become a nation that is very divided. And so while you can spend a lot of time and you're interested in spending time to convince people to vote one way or another, here, and especially in Ohio, the real key to winning is getting out the vote of everyone who you know is going to support your candidate. And so that's also why there is a lot of people knocking on your doors, you're getting mail.
And the phone calls never ending.
Oh yes, and the phone calls, and making sure that you vote, because they're tracking all of us to make sure that we show up at least either early voting or on voting day to get their vote. And it's very likely the winner in Ohio will be the person that brings out the most votes.
Wow, it's complicated. Every election is important, and every vote really does count, especially here in Ohio. Because as Buckeye Battleground shows, as Ohio goes, so goes the country. My thanks to Dr. Brooks, who gets our vote for clearly explaining a very complicated topic.
You're welcome, Anna.
To learn more or to order the book, call the University of Akron Press at 800-247-6553 or visit www.uakron.edu/UAPress. Next, a mistake with your IRA could cost you.
Let's all wake up to better health. Walk, run, fly, find a partner, an ally, a Metro Health doctor who will listen as long as it takes, so you can celebrate every day by living it your way. Get your physical, checkup, regular screening at Metro Health, and wake up every day to better health. Change is healthy.
Did you miss a phone number or website? Then here's your second chance, because we're going to list all of that information again. Then we'll be back to spell out how the IRS is trying to help you with your IRA. Most Americans have an IRA or retirement account. Sometimes you want to move the account to a different broker or bank. If you take money from your IRA or retirement account, you have to redeposit it by the 60th day after the day your money was that you received the money. If you miss that deadline by even one day, it can have devastating tax consequences. Here to discuss the new IRS rules to help avoid these problems is my law partner, Michael Solomon.
Hello, Lori.
So first, tell me about the problem with missing the deadline date.
Well, if you take your money out of an IRA or 401k, 403b, any sort of plan, and roll it over, take it out and roll it over to, let's say, an IRA. You have 60 days to do that. But if you miss that, then you owe income taxes on the money, and if you're under 59.5, you owe a 10% penalty. So otherwise, it's tax-free, but if you miss that deadline, you have those taxes. And worse yet, if you blow the 60 days and you still transfer it to an IRA, not only do you owe income taxes and that penalty if you're under 59.5, but you owe another penalty for putting too much money in the IRA. So there are a lot of tax consequences.
So what did the IRS do to help avert this tax disaster?
Well, the IRS issued what's called a revenue procedure 2016-47. What they did is they said, if you miss this 60-day period for certain reasons that they list, they'll waive the penalties if you get that money in the IRA in that time period. The errors that you can make, that they'll give you an excuse if the bank makes a mistake or the brokerage company makes a mistake, or if you put money in an account and you thought it was an IRA account, it didn't turn out to be an IRA account. If your home is severely damaged and that caused a delay, or a family member died or is seriously ill, or the post office caused a delay, or your dog ate the check. That one I made up. That's not the real one. But there are some other matters or excuses that are put in that revenue procedure.
So if this happens to you, what do you do?
Well, first of all, as soon as you find out, get the money in the IRA as soon as you can. Number two, the IRS said they won't argue that you waited too long if you get it in within 30 days of finding out about the problem. And write a letter to the broker or the bank explaining the situation. Now, the IRS is giving you a form letter to use. So you use that form letter, you give it to the bank and brokerage company, and you go from there.
So you're good if you do that?
Well, unfortunately, I can't say you're 100% good. If you're audited and the IRS disagrees that you didn't satisfy any of those rules, then they could still impose the penalty tax and the interest and all that sort of stuff. So the best thing is don't play it close to the 60 days, or better yet, if you're going to move your money around, do a transfer right from one place to the other. It's called a trustee-to-trustee transfer. Don't touch the money, then you'll never have that problem.
All right, good tip. Don't cause yourself a tax disaster by missing the 60-day rollover rule. However, if you do miss the deadline, there may be a way to save the day. If you have any questions, give Mike a call. The number's next.
Call Solomon, Steiner, and Peck at 1-888-236-5173 for more information or to schedule a speaker for your organization. Or log on to www.ssnplaw.com.
Thanks for joining us. Come back next week for more great information. But until then, please remember to make the most of your golden opportunities.
If you'd like to join our kitchen conversation, visit our website, www.goldenopportunities.tv. Like us on Facebook. Call us at 440-742-GO-TV or email us at kitchen@goldenopportunities.tv. We'd love to hear from you.
Golden Opportunities is paid for by Elder Productions.